Hey there, Suzi here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to share this special message with you. Now, my co-host Michelle and I love masterminds. Not only do we belong to masterminds, but we also host a mastermind. We started it almost 8 years ago, and it is the premier mastermind for women business owners who want to grow their business with a specific focus on marketing. Now, this group is usually completely booked out, and very occasionally we open the doors and invite a handful of women in. So if you're growing your business, but you're struggling with feeling overwhelmed, or like you constantly have a split focus when it comes to your marketing, this could be exactly what you're looking for. We have an amazing time together, and the women in the group are extraordinary. They're great cheerleaders, supporters, advisors, and colleagues for you. And they're also seeing extraordinary results. We see people cracking the $1 million, $2 million, $3 million mark, launching new e-commerce sites that go from $0 to $10,000 a month in sales. They're doubling their conversion rates, they're growing memberships, they're selling courses, they're growing their personal brands, and they're getting all kinds of media exposure and speaking opportunities and so much more. You can learn more about the mastermind and join the wait list over at herbusinessmastermind.com. We're going to open the doors soon, so you definitely want to be on the list to get an invitation. So head on over to herbusinessmastermind.com. Hi, you're listening to the Content Sales Podcast, the show all about how to create content to attract, convert, and keep your ideal clients. Welcome to episode 194. I'm Suzi Dafnis, and here with me is my co-host, Michelle Falzon. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hey, Suzi, I am fit and raring to go.
Fit and raring to go. I love it. I too am raring to go. And today we're talking about competitions and how you can use them effectively in your content marketing. Because not only is a competition a great way to get people to take specific actions, it's also a really wonderful way to crowdsource content and to have that content shared to a much wider audience than you might normally have access to. And we're going to be talking more about that in today's show. In fact, we're going to be covering 3 very specific ways to use competition. The first way is to generate more leads. Yay! So we're going to talk about how you can use competitions to grow your email list and increase the number of leads coming into your marketing pipeline, or, following you on Instagram or wherever it is that you want to direct people. The second way is what we're calling viral audience marketing. And this is how you can use competitions to incentivize your existing customers, followers, wider audience to share your offer, your message with their networks. And the third way is a really great way to use competitions inside of your paid programs or products or services to incentivize results and having your customers make visible progress and even repeat purchases. So we're talking about customer progress incentives.
Yeah, competitions are something I love and that we've both used successfully in all kinds of ways to generate new customers over the years. Maybe it's to get people buying from us. Maybe it's to get more podcast subscribers, to encourage more customer reviews, to get media exposure, to create community, to create excitement and anticipation for something that's coming, to generate more customer success stories, to get more people completing our programs and achieving their potential. There are so many ways that you can be really strategic with competitions. And that is, I think, going to be the guiding light through the entire episode today. Competitions are great, but they need to be strategic. So let's look at that first thing you mentioned, Suzi, competitions for lead generation.
So I don't know, listener, if you know this is a thing, but there are people out there actively looking for competitions to enter. They just want to win a prize. They don't care what the prize is. They're just out there. And actually, if you Google for, competitions, you will find a zillion competitions. So what you want to make sure is that that is not you, that you are only attracting your ideal clients to your competition. And Michelle's going to talk a little more about this in a moment. And so I too love the idea of competitions for lead generation. And we have done this in a number of ways with a number of different prizes, from giving away a coffee machine for a home office to a beautiful designer laptop bag. And we've run these competitions as pop-ups on our website, across our social platforms. We've even emailed people on our list, which you think, well, they're already a lead, but it's a way to re-engage them. And so use strategically, and you'll hear that word over and over, offering a prize as a way to get people who might be out there. They might be following you on social media. They might be watching your reels. They might be visiting your website, but you don't have their email address. Offering a really great prize that is absolutely spot on relevant for that ideal client is a great way to get more of your ideal clients on your email list, where you can market to them again and again and again and turn them into customers.
Yeah, the key here really is to think about that prize being relevant to only your target market. So, instead of having a cash prize or an iPad that might appeal to everyone, including those people Suzi was talking about who are out there just scanning for competitions, they're professional competition enterers. What's something your target audience would be interested in? So in many cases, providing access to your product in some way is a really great prize, because somebody's going to jump through the hoops of the competition to get that free one-on-one consult with you, or to get access to X dollars worth of training programs that you offer, or to get your ABC product, is somebody who's genuinely interested in what it is you're offering. So you'll be attracting that entrant, that name to your list, that person on your Facebook followers or wherever it is that you're kind of attracting that person, who is truly in profile, who is truly a more ideal client. And so while you'll get more entrants if you offer, say, the iPad or the cash prize, or, even the coffee machine, which, you could argue it would be relevant to a woman business owner who has a home office. It's also relevant to lots and lots of other people. So just think about those prizes and think, is this going to be really more or less exclusively interesting, or more interesting to my ideal client base? And so, for example, we ran a competition when we launched this podcast, and hint, hint, you'll be hearing a little more about this later, when we were looking for people to come in and subscribe to the podcast and review the podcast, and to join our community and to join our list and to come into our world, where we offered headphones. Now, it was a little bit of a generic prize in that, all sorts of people want headphones, but we were kind of walking that balancing act between having a really fantastic prize that was relevant to a podcast, because to listen to a podcast, you need headphones, and that would encourage and entice a lot of entrants, and also avoiding making it too generic, so that we had people who are never going to be ongoing content sales customers, or members of our mastermind, or members of the Her Business community. So think about the prize being relevant to your target market, and as relevant as possible is a really good move. So, for example, one of the most successful competitions that I ran was a really long time ago, and this is for everybody that's out there that might be selling high dollar products, and you think, look, competition's up for me. We made this really ballsy move of offering a free corporate training video. Now, it was valued up to $10,000. Now, for us, a $10,000 training video in actual hard costs had probably about $3,000 worth of actual money we would pay to other people. We had our own facilities, we had our own gear. We were planning to edit it ourselves, so we sort of absorbed some of those costs. But it had a really high perceived value. And it was to kickstart the corporate training video division of an agency that we had. And we thought, let's be bold. Let's go out there with something amazing. And we knew that all the entrants would be people who actually did really want a corporate training video. And so we ended up getting quite a few entrants, all of whom became really good prospects for the videos, which we did get some extra work from. And we were also able to help a really fantastic winner, which was the Care Flight helicopter service, who in Australia, people will know that Care Flight helicopter is the group that goes and lands in a football field if somebody's hurt themselves playing football, if it's a kid, or, picks up kids and takes them from one hospital in a regional area to a city hospital if they need urgent care. So we ended up making the corporate training video for them, but we got ourselves in front of a whole lot of organizations who were in our profile, and we picked up some mainstream media. So all the local papers picked us up and had us on the front page, not only when we launched the competition, but then when CareFlight when we handed the video over to them, CareFlight came and flew and landed on the football field outside the high school. We invited all the press. We had a symbolic kind of handover of the video and all those kinds of things. And we had other Sydney press and mainstream press pick that up as well. So it was kind of a very strategic, deliberate move to offer a prize that was more or less what we sold to attract people who would only really want what it was that we sold. Because you don't just want quantity of people opting into your competition. In that case, we didn't have thousands of entrants. We had less than 100 entrants, but the quality was big. The quality was profound in terms of what we could then do as we engage with those customers ongoing, and then with what the side benefits were with the media and so on. So you want to get quality as well as quantity. And one way to get quality is what we'll talk about in a minute, which is how to use your existing audience to promote your service and to get their friends entering. But before we do, Suzi, I know you had a couple of examples of this idea of really choosing and being selective about the prize.
First, I really like that example, and congratulations on being able to take one idea, one competition, and leveraging that into huge exposure and additional clients for the business. And so I wanted to give you a couple of ideas just based on what Michelle said. So if, for example, you were like the wonderful Fiona Keary, who's part of our mastermind, who is a stylist, she might give away a styling session. Now, she's only going to, and it's a styling session for women who are 35 plus, who have a wardrobe full of clothes they absolutely love. She'd get really, really clear on who that styling session is for. Now, that is something that has a value. It is something she sells. It is something someone could go to her website. But what she would do is she would put herself out in front of a whole lot of people who might then join her free Facebook group, or they might join her membership program, or they might join her course. Or if you're a nutritionist, you might bundle together maybe you're Ange Sinclair and you're the digestive detective. And so you might bundle together a 3-month program to help people with digestion. Now, if you don't have a digestion issue, you're not going to apply for that prize. But if you do, then you might be a great person for Ange to have on her list. If you don't buy right now, she can still nurture you. You can follow her, on Instagram and get her tips. But eventually, firstly, you're now on her radar and she's on your radar because you know that she helps people with the exact problem that you have. And it's just another way that brings people into your world.
I love that. And they're really good, concrete examples of what we mean by offering your own product or service as the prize. And so not only does the individual prize winner, if somebody came to Fiona's styling session and had a one-on-one with her, I'm sure that person would become a customer because she's just so fantastic.
Absolutely.
So, the session in itself can help you to get a customer. But like Suzi was saying, all those people that want that styling session have already put their hand up and said, hey, I'm your ideal client because what you're offering, I want. And so I just wanted to mention there, we've got an old episode that is called The Step 2 Secret. And it's all about using the thank you page after somebody has opted in for your lead magnet to offer them to move forward to the next thing you want them to do. So whether it's, like Suzi said, join your Facebook group, whether it's to come to your free webinar, whether it's to buy your, low-cost thing with this coupon code or whatever it is, when you join that step 2 with the competition entry, it's a really powerful kind of 1-2 because they join in the hopes of getting the competition. They enter. And on the thank you page, you say, fantastic, your competition entry is in. And because you've entered the competition, we'd love to give you a coupon code for XYZ, or we'd love to give you this free webinar training, or we'd love to have you, join our Styling Secrets Facebook community or our 35 plus Where to Shop community in Fiona's case. And so you want to keep people in momentum. So your competition is another form of lead magnet, as you're thinking about it in this lead generation way. So just like you might use an ebook or a challenge or a guide or a checklist or a free video or a webinar or whatever it is you're thinking about in terms of what am I putting out there to my community that they'll opt in for free in exchange for their details so I can move them forward to my next step, that's where your competition fits as well when you're thinking about it in this lead generation kind of way. So we'll put a link to that episode. It's episode 11. That's a long time ago now, Suzi. Into the show notes.
Still one of my favorites, though, I have to say.
Yes. Still one of the most powerful things that anybody can be doing is just using that thank you page to move people forward. So just a bit more context as you're thinking about your competition as a pure lead generation activity. And the big game there, though, is making sure you're getting in profile leads, because you can easily run a competition where you give away a few $1,000s and you get thousands of people, and they turn out to
kickers.
Nothing. You don't get anything out of it. So that's the really big takeaway there from that lead generation type of competition. So let's take a look at this second approach to competitions, and that's really kind of what we were saying before about how we don't just want quantity, we also want quality. And one really cool way to get quality is if you think about the people that are already on your email list, that are already following you on perhaps your most popular social platform. Oftentimes, you might have noticed when you get referrals from those people, they're also your ideal clients. So if somebody in our mastermind referred somebody else to our mastermind, I'm 99.9% sure they're going to be perfect for mastermind.
Absolutely.
Because people tend to hang out with people like them. So this idea of what we're calling viral audience marketing is really just simply the idea that you take your existing audience and you use competitions to incentivize those people to share your offer or to share the competition or to share whatever the message is you want to share to their friends, to their networks, and they get a reward for that. So let's kind of dimensionalize that now as something, some real examples, so you can kind of get what we mean here. So let's just say that you have an e-commerce store, and many years ago I did run an e-commerce store, and we would put out a sales catalog every year where people could buy, it came out at Christmas time, and people could buy various products in that catalog. And they were sort of personal development, education kind of products. In that catalog, and as part of that Christmas promotion, we also ran a competition where we were going to give away $5,000 in products to one lucky winner. And so we chose to make this kind of a viral audience marketing competition, in that not only did we want the people who got the catalog to enter, but when they entered, we incentivized them to share the competition with their friends for more chances to win. So here's how it worked. Let's say I was like, wow, I want to win that $5,000 worth of free product. I could pick any product from the catalog, or, $5,000 worth of product from the catalog. I go ahead and I go to the page where the competition entry is, and I enter my details. I put my hand up and say, hey, count me in. I want to be in the draw to win this prize. On the thank you page, so the step 2 page, instead of moving them forward to something else, what we moved them forward to was, hey, would you like to increase your chances of winning? Simply share this competition with your friends, and for every friend referred by you who enters, you will get an extra entry. So let's say I referred it to 5 friends, and 3 of those friends actually entered. I would get 3 extra entries. I've now got 4 entries in the competition. I've quadrupled my chances of winning. Now, what we did was we created some custom software at the time so that it would automatically allow them to enter the person's details, send off the email automatically to them to say, hey, I've just entered this great competition. I thought you might be interested. Here's the link and here's what you'll win. But at the time, we were very clear that we did not want to capture those email addresses until that person came back and opted in. And you want to be clear about that too, because people have to opt into your email address in order for you to be able to continue to email them. So just to recap, on the thank you page, we gave the person who entered, so one person has entered, we gave them the opportunity to invite multiple people to enter. And we made it super easy for them to do that right there on the thank you page by automating that process. They just had to put in their friends' email addresses. It automatically sent out the emails. We just did not keep those email addresses. All that we did was we had a way of tagging it so that when they came back and registered, they went into our email system. and only then did they go into our email system. And so we were incentivizing this virality, right? Taking one person and sharing the message with multiple people in their network, which is kind of the essence of what a virus does and what viral marketing is all about, by offering them more chances to win the competition they just entered. And of course, they're referring it to people like them, people they know that would be interested in this personal development education. And we were able to grow our list by thousands of people using that strategy, and knew that we were getting the quality as well as the quantity.
Very, very good. And like you said, yours was a complex custom build, but these days, and every year, right, it changes, and there's a few more tools out there that allow you to do something like that a little easier. And, that's the sort of thing you want to automate as much as you can.
And there's some really cool tools. Like there's a tool called Up Viral, and we'll put a link to that in the show notes today. And there are other tools as well that these days, this viral marketing idea has become a lot more sort of automated and systemized. And so there's lots of tools now that will sort of take care of a lot of that for you after somebody opts in for some kind of lead magnet, and particularly incentivized when it's a competition.
Something we just did recently, which I think anyone can do. We recently ran our annual members event, which is called Her Business Live. And we send our members a gift box of fabulous goodies that we open up on the day of the event. And it's something our members absolutely love. And so we have these Her Business branded boxes that we send out. And so what we did in the lead up to Her Business Live and on the day is that we offered the chance to win one of dozens and thousands of dollars in door prizes when you posted a photo using the hashtag Her Business Live 2022. Now, in the lead up to the event, we asked people to, as they receive their goodies in the mail, to post a picture of the box with the hashtag Her Business Live 2022 on Instagram or on Facebook, and to tag us. Now, this created a great buzz for the event. It was fun. We were able to give away tons of prizes, both to those who posted before the event and those who posted on the day. And what it also did was it got our brand and our URL out there. The event name got out there to a whole lot more people. We were able to gain more followers on social media, and it was something really fun. And that was using this idea of what could be viral, what could one person pass on to another. So have a think about any upcoming promotions that you have. How can you add a competition to encourage your existing customers, perhaps people who are already signed up for what you do, to leverage that audience to reach more people? Even when we're opening up the doors to the Her Business membership, we will often incentivize members to invite their friends to join, offering them something, going back to our original point, that is relevant to them as a member. It could be a mentoring session, or it could be some sort of coaching, or it could be some special training that we know our members will love. And so every time we did this, we did the post for Her Business Live, it was new content. There were beautiful photos of members with their event packs, with their dog. They're saying wonderful things about how excited they are about the event. And if you keep track of those, which we screenshot everything, we can use that next year to promote the event pack, to promote the value of the Her Business Live. Every single hashtag that was posted on the day of the event, with women opening up their gift boxes, enjoying, I won't say what it is, I'm enjoying all the goodies inside. That is all content. That is all testimonial content that we can use again and again. And the hashtag, giving people the specific hashtag to use, means that we can track that content, and it builds that buzz and that virality on those channels.
I just wanted to say about that hashtag too, like, we talked about the custom build that I did and tools like Up Viral, but honestly, those hashtags are just such a simple, easy way to find everybody who's posting about you online. And then your team or yourself, whoever's, in charge of doing that, you can just find those hashtags really easily and then choose a winner. Plus you can use that, find all that content to screenshot as well. So those hashtags are just gold. And, just pick a hashtag that is kind of relevant. And one little funny aside on the hashtags, definitely do go and check what those hashtags are already out there in the world.
Yes.
A mutual friend of ours, he spontaneously picked a hashtag, and it turns out it was about something rather dubious, had already kind of co-opted that hashtag. And when he did a search on it, it brought up things he wasn't quite expecting. So do kind of, have that hashtag be something super relevant to you.
The other thing with hashtags in a similar vein is when you string a number of words together in a hashtag, do read it out and make sure that the compound words are not creating other words that you might not want seen in a they might work when you listen to them, but when you join all those words together, they create other words in the alphabet that you might not want on your feed. Very funny. So we've given you the first two types of competitions for lead generation, competitions where you're using your audience to leverage and have a viral effect. So now we're going to look at the final example, and that's using competitions to incentivize existing customer progress and results. And that's really thinking about the ways that you can use competitions inside of your paid memberships, products and services, programs to incentivize progress and even repeat purchases. So, for example, inside of our Get New Clients Coaching Week, one of the things we teach is our very valuable way to introduce yourself anytime, anywhere, whether it's on your website, in real life events, in proposals, etc. We call that our connection statement. So inside of our Get New Clients Coaching Week, one of the exercises is to create your connection statement. And we offer prizes for people to complete their statement and post it in the group. Now, this does a couple of things. One, it increases engagement in the group. But two, it has people complete a very important part of the process of getting new clients that is going to help them get results right inside of that challenge, right inside of that wonderful opportunity to get feedback, and also right before we then make the opportunity to join our membership available. And here's why this is important. One, they've joined something that is either low cost or free. They've already started to see the results of implementing what they're learning. So then when we offer them the opportunity to work more closely with me, to be coached, to be part of an amazing community, they can already see that in this short time, they are already getting these results. And this particular example, people have opened up opportunities and gotten new clients and gotten appointments and gotten through doors that were previously closed to them by implementing this one little thing. But we incentivize it with prizes because it works. We have a little competition because it has people take action where otherwise they may not. Similar example, every single month inside the Her Business Network, we focus on a different essential pillar of business, whether it's people or sales and marketing or technology or money. And every single month we'll offer some sort of incentive, some sort of competition for people to implement something. So in the lead up to the end of the financial year, our focus that month was, not surprisingly, all about money, because we wanted to have our members ready to have their best financial year ever in the following year. And so the competition was around creating a one-page budget and actually posting that they had completed the budget. Now, they didn't have to give us the particulars. We kind of took them on their word. And if we needed to ask for the evidence, then they would show it confidentially to me, for example. And so we had a record number of members, one, doing a budget, which for a lot of business owners, it's a bit of a black hole, and two, entering this competition. Now, the winner of that competition won a mentoring session with our head mentor. Now, that is a valuable, relevant prize for an in-profile client because they're already a client. And what that did was, one, they did a budget. That is a big plus for any business owner to actually have a budget to work towards. But then winning the prize gave her further results because she was able to go over that budget with someone who's coached and mentored hundreds and hundreds of business owners. So win for them. And I think a win for us as well, because we love seeing our members get results.
Yeah, and the more they're doing with you, the more chances are that they're going to do more with you, So it's definitely a win-win. And I think that phrase is a great phrase to hold in mind when you're thinking about these kinds of competitions, and that is the competitions where you're incentivizing customer progress. How can you make it a win-win? A win for them and a win for you. And I want to just double down on this idea of customer progress, because here's the dirty little secret. Even some of the most well-designed courses out there and I know this used to even be the case with Harvard until they had to do a lot of work on their training design for their online programs. Fewer than 10% of people actually complete the courses that they buy. So what I mean by that is just to get through all the material that's on offer in the course. If there's 3 modules, fewer than 10% of people make it to the end of module 3. And even fewer actually implement. So if you are running an online course on how to do budgeting, fewer than 10% of the people may get to the end of your course, and even fewer than that will actually make a change to how they're doing budgeting. And so, these are numbers that I've been aware of for a really long time, and absolutely devoted to bucking that trend. And I'm happy to say that, for all the clients that I work with, our completion rates are way, way beyond that. We're seeing 50, 60, 70, sometimes 80, 90% completion rates. And so why is that important? People might think, well, I've sold the course or I've sold the program or whatever. What they do with it's up to them. No. Computer says no, because what you actually want is customer success. Because when people get success with your program, they tell other people about it. They become customer stories that you can share in future marketing. And that is one of your most powerful pieces of content marketing that you have at your disposal. It's just good juju. It's great for you to know that the work you're doing is really making an impact. It's not sliding off people's backs like water off a duck's back. It's actually going in and making a difference. So for me, in a lot of the course and strategic content marketing I do, a lot of the course design that I do, absolutely inbuilt is this idea of customer progress incentives. It is like as important to me, if not more important, than the actual training content. So let's say you run a multi-week program, whether it's a coaching program, whether it's an online course, whether it's something you deliver live and in person, whether it's virtual, whatever it is. Let's say it happens over a period of time. You want to be doing things that every single step of the way that encourage people to consume that content, to make progress with that content. And there's all kinds of things you can do. And that's another episode for another time to talk about the range of things. But one of the things you can do is this incentivization, where you are giving people, you are literally bribing them. And I often have my clients say that out loud. I'm not above bribing you to make success in this program. People now see your total commitment to their success. And when you create a fun, incentivized, really cool kind of competition that the whole kind of cohort can get involved with, you're really creating this powerful energy that absolutely leads to momentum and that absolutely leads to results. You might offer a prize for the first person to get to a certain outcome. You might offer a prize, like you might pick a certain time during the program where people have to implement, and you offer prizes for that. You might offer like a little catch-up period, and you incentivize the catch-up. There's always people who start your program or into your course or whatever it is, and they fall behind for whatever reason. You can incentivize the catch-up. And we've done some cool things with clients where we've had like a designated period in the rollout of the program that was catch-up, and you got prizes like money prizes. And here's where you can be a bit broader with the prize, because these people are already your customers, right? So cash is a fabulous incentive because these are already our customers. I can offer a cash prize here, or T-shirts, swag from your product range, other products that you offer. All of these things are really fantastic. And sometimes you don't even have to offer money or anything. I've got a client right now, and what we're doing is we're just offering virtual prizes. And the prize, the reward, is recognition, just recognition amongst their peers. So it's really key that you are thinking about, how am I incentivizing customer progress that leads to customer success? Because customer success unlocks social proof for your next campaign, more referrals from happy customers, a greater sense of satisfaction for you. And when a few of your customers are succeeding, oh my gosh, the ripple effect that it has on all the other people in your program, they go, oh my God, they got it done. I'm just like them. I can get it done. And it starts this incredible snowball kind of impact. And I know we've been talking about paid program, customer progress incentives, but this is also a fantastic strategy when you're doing campaigns that you might be delivering for free, but they're really valuable. Like, for example, if you're doing a 30-day challenge, then you can incentivize people to take action each day. So you give them the daily challenge, and then you say, everybody gets this challenge done by midnight tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to announce the winner of this swag or this cash prize or whatever it is. And you're incentivizing them to take action, to get engaged, because remember, people they fall off the wagon, they don't get engaged, and to get results. And when they get results, like you were saying, Suzi, they're more likely to have a great experience, to be ready for the next thing you're offering.
And I've seen this work. I've seen it inside of our free challenges. I've seen it inside of our paid groups. And it really is about that. You're looking for a result. You're looking for them to make progress and for them to recognize that they're making progress. The other thing, which kind of almost needn't be said, but I always want to be sure that I'm not insulting my audience's intelligence. And so you want to make sure that your prizes are relevant, that they're valuable, that they will seem to be valuable. Because some people are not going to enter a competition even if it was $1 million and they only had to do one thing. That's fine. But for the rest of the people, it's amazing how much people will do it. Like you said, for the recognition, for the acknowledgement, sometimes that's even more valuable than the physical product that they might win. So just think about, what does my ideal client really need and want, and what will motivate them to take action, and what can it be that doesn't insult their intelligence as an adult or a child or a mum or whatever it is that you're whoever your ideal client is.
Absolutely. And I would add to that, I'm always amazed at just what does incentivize people. And so, testing out a few things is always a great idea. But, my experience, like T-shirt is just one of the most incredible, especially if you've been if you're wearing the T-shirt, or if it's seen as something that you can't buy elsewhere, or perhaps you've got something else like a little tool that you use or something you're known for. Those can be incredibly incentivizing, and I'm always amazed, even with high kind of income group people, how much the cash incentive does actually work. And one last thing I did want to mention was to be sure that you are aware of the regulations in your home state and country when it comes to competitions, because we're talking about competitions right now. But depending on where you are right now as you're listening to this episode, just do a little bit of Googling if you don't already know. What are the requirements? What are the restrictions? What are the regulations when it comes to running competitions? Some regions have rules about competitions that require permits, or certain types of competitions that require permits. And there are really two types of competition. There's what's known as the game of chance. And so that's really any kind of lottery style competition where there's a random winner. So, as it can be as simple as pulling names from a hat. You put all the people's names in a hat and you pull out the winner, or using a randomizer software tool. And there's a good one called Wheel of Names, and you can get it at wheelofnames.com. And it's an interesting one because like the Wheel of Fortune wheel, you actually see everybody's name on the wheel, and then you can literally click a button and it spins in front of people's eyes. It's a good thing to do up on the screen at a live event or on a virtual event, and then it lands on one name. So, all of this kind of randomly chosen winners, that's what's considered a game of chance. And some regions will have rules about what you can and can't do with games of chance. So, for example, in Australia, in some states, including the state that I live in and that Suzi lives in, if your prize pool is over $10,000 in value and you plan on doing a game of chance, you need to get a permit. And you actually have to show the number of that permit on any of your advertising, and you have to sort of tick a few boxes and do things a certain way. But of course, it is different depending on where you live and what the local regulations are. And the other type of competition is what's known as a test of skill. And this is any kind of competition where someone's skill determines they're the winner. And that's why you so often see those competitions now that say, in 25 words or less, tell us blah, 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 blah. And what is often happening there is that the person running the competition is getting over that idea of it being a game of chance, and that it's really related to the entry that the person's put in. And then you have to actually read those entries and make sure you pick the most deserving winner. Again, if there are restrictions and regulations. In many territories, there are no restrictions and regulations, so you don't want to necessarily be bound by things that don't exist. Just wanted to kind of tune your antenna to that as well.
Yeah, and it's just good to know, and then you can make your prize pool 9,995, or whatever it is to not require you to go through those things. As we're talking about these ideas, I'm remembering, Michelle, during the lockdown periods, those old lockdown periods, where we did some great competitions during our mastermind 2-day
Oh my
event.
gosh.
During
so
COVID,
fun.
we were doing our 2-day programs. There's amazing virtual programs, and in fact, the members, even though they were virtual and normally we're face to face, they love them so much that now once a year we still do a virtual 2-day program, and we did fun things using tools like the wheels of name or trivia, and we always have prizes, whether it's for the best dressed or whether it's for we love a good competition. But I was just thinking, we did one competition. I just have to call this out, and it was a fiesta night, and so it's going totally off track. But we had to dress something that was fiesta-like. We were cooking fiesta-type foods. We'd sent people some recipes for margaritas and a few other things. And one of the competitions was for how you came dressed in a fiesta style. And the gorgeous Amanda Farmer, who is our mastermind, she won the competition because she came, I can't even do it and be culturally appropriate, I don't think. So I'm not going to say any more. But we've had a lot of fun with competitions with clients, and they weren't for the purpose of growing an email list or getting more referrals or customer success, but it was for client engagement, and it was for fun, it was for community building, which is another way that you can use competitions and incentives within your communities. And so
I would even argue that it is really about customer success in the end, because I think they wanted to come to the events and we made them fun and they stayed engaged in the program, and then the program delivered the success. So in a tangential kind of way, I think anytime you're getting people engaged, getting them engaged, giving them a fun time, giving them an opportunity to bond together, and all of those nights were just so fun.
So much fun.
You are definitely helping people to stay inside your world, feel like they belong, and be in a better position to make progress.
So which one of these 3 ways could you use a competition for in the near future? Could it be for lead generation? Like, how could you use competitions to grow your email list and increase the number of people coming into your world? Would you use the second one we talked about, which was the viral audience marketing? Could you use competitions to incentivize your existing customers and wider audience to share your offer to their networks? This is such a great point of leverage. Or number 3, which was the customer progress incentives. How can you use competitions inside of your paid product services programs to incentivize progress and even repeat purchases, regardless if it's a paid offer or a paid community or a free one? The other thing, as I said, is to be thoughtful about your prizes. And in the spirit of creating competitions as content, we have a competition for you with a wonderful prize coming soon. So stay tuned to the show. We'll be telling you about it in just a couple of episodes. Now, a couple of episodes ago, did an episode on 7 most common newsletter mistakes and how to fix them. And one of our awesome listeners and mastermind members, Prue Saxby, left us a wonderful review. We have a ton of reviews. We've got over 100 5-star ratings, and we'd love for you to also leave us a review. And here's what Prue said. So she listened to this episode about newsletters, and she said, after listening to Suzi and Michelle on the Content Source podcast about newsletters, I implemented a new newsletter. She said, within 1 hour, I've received 2 thank you emails from people. And she went on to tell us what those thank you emails said. And she said, the 2,000 people on my database. Now, Prue's expertise is in helping people find grants on how to create free money. And she said her list usually gets one email a month, unless she's offering her membership or her masterclass opportunity. She said, but after listening to the podcast, she realized she needed to be more regular with her help and showing her expertise. So she's now sending a weekly email, which is so powerful. And that consistency is really going to help her. But also using a structure, which we talk about inside of that episode, she's made her content creation and her newsletter creation so much easier for her, but also so much easier for people to consume. And so she says she's thought through the importance of high-level topics that her audience wants, and she's trickled them through everything she's doing. So this one episode opened up so many doors of opportunity for content creation and really strategic content creation for Prue Saxby. Prue, you are a rock star. You know we adore you, and you want to learn more about Prue's programs by checking out the show notes. We'll put a link to her Grant Academy, which is her membership, where she helps organisations be ready to get government grants and get that grant money. Now, we've mentioned several resources and episodes inside of today's show, and we want to make it really easy for you to access all those goodies. So anything we've mentioned here in the show, you can find over on today's show notes, which we have hosted at herbusiness.com/competition tips. That's herbusiness.com/competition tips. Michelle, what do we have coming up in the next episode?
Suzi, we've got a topic that some people are going to go, yay, this is my happy place. And other people are going to go, oh my goodness, really? Maybe I'll skip that episode. But we would encourage you not to skip this episode, because if this is an ode for you, you need this more than anybody else. And we're going to be talking about planning your marketing. But not only just marketing planning, we're going to be looking specifically at how you can stack momentum with your annual marketing plan. And that is, what do you do in that plan, and how do you think about that year so that the momentum builds from the first quarter to the second quarter and so on, and how you can be really strategic about what you wear in your annual marketing calendar. We'll be covering our top tips for that. We'll be covering about when you should be doing that and so much more in the next episode.
I'm very excited about that episode, because we see the same mistakes happening over and over again when women are planning their marketing, or not planning their marketing, as it is most often. So that's coming up 2 weeks from now. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed to the show. If you're a brand new listener, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have so many great episodes in store for you. And if you're one of our regular listeners, thank you so much. We love making this show for you. Be listening for the Stacking Momentum with Your Annual Marketing episode 2 weeks from now. Now, Michelle, anything before we go?
I think there's a time and a place for the lead generation competitions and the viral audience marketing competitions. But I think there's always a time for customer progress incentives. So if you're looking at the things we've talked about today and you may be earmarking, I'll do a lead gen competition at a certain time in my year or whatever, do definitely think about, how can I get some customer progress incentives now, even if they're humble, small things that are going to make the biggest difference to getting my existing customers to make progress.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time right here on the Content Source podcast. Bye for now.